Hello, everyone, and welcome to Calhoun Aviation Experience. Today, me and the pilots here, we're going to be looking at VORs. And so, right now, of course, y'all should be seeing a screen with some green dots and stuff. This is the web browser that the boys and I are going to look at. And we're going to go through a small lesson here, talk about VORs. Layton, what are VORs? You got your notes there. What are VORs?
VORs stands for Very High Frequency Omnidirectional Range.
Omnidirectional, very high frequency, omnidirectional range. Now, basically, not every city, not every county has what we call a VOR. It's a form of navigation. It kind of lets you know where you are. The best way to really explain it, and the way we explain it to the boys, is this. It's like tuning into a radio station. So, if you're in Tallahassee, like we are, some of our favorite radio stations are 94.9, 96.1, 90.5, 91.9. But you have to tune into that frequency to pick up that station. So if we want to get the big station, 96.1, you got to turn the radio to what? 96.1. Well, this is how VORs work. It's like turning into a radio station, but you're a distance away, and it kind of guides you and it lets you know by a couple of methods that you're traveling there. So, boys, if y'all want to, I'm gonna move the screen right here to over here just to make sure I can track that. Let's look at the screen up here, okay? All right, first of all, we know that we live here in Tallahassee, Florida. So we're going to zoom into Tallahassee so everybody can see Tallahassee. Tallahassee is a class what? Charlie Airport. It's a class Charlie Airport. Now, for some of you who may not know, this big blue line right here are thunderstorms. They're thunderstorms. And it notes the airmen. If you see that right there, it kind of tells you what this is about. It's about severe thunderstorms moving from 200 from direction 290 at 25 knots. It tops off at 45,000 feet. So these storms are massive storms that are moving through the south right now. And usually aircraft that are coming through this area, they're going to avoid these storms because the tops of them at 45,000 feet, average airliner, average plane flies anywhere between 30 and 39,000 feet. But even if it says it tops at there, it says there's hail to 1 inch, wind gusts up to 50 knots possible. Odds are no aircraft is going to fly through this area. Now, that involves a lot of major airports. Right in here, you got the state of Florida right here. You got part of Georgia, Savannah. You have Pensacola over here that has storms that tops above 45,000 feet. So this is just something. So in case you're wondering what that blue stuff is, those are notices to let you know that there are thunderstorms. When there's hurricanes, they'll have that information in those blue shade spots. So that's what the boys know. So as you can see right here in Tallahassee, we're inside this blue wall right here that lets you know that there's some possible hail that's in the area of thunderstorms that tops off at 45,000 feet. So, of course, odds are we would not get in the sim to simulate reality, would not send an aircraft in the air at this time because the conditions are very unfavorable. But we're here to talk about VORs. So when we look at this, most major airports have what they call VORs. If you don't know what VORs, I'm about to show it to you. As I screen into Tallahassee right here, you see this big dark magenta line. That's the class Charlie airspace for Tallahassee. But if you look right here, you see this little compass rose right here with there's a little symbol right here in the middle. And this is what we call the what? The Seminole Vortex. Okay? There are 3 types of VORs. William, what's one type of VOR?
VOR.
Is one? VOR attack.
VOR.
Dear me, distance measuring equipment. VOR attack is for what? Military. And there's just plain VORs. Well, for Tallahassee, we have the Seminole VOR, but it's a vortex. It's a vortex. And the reason why and what we thought about is that Layton, while we were at Tallahassee International Airport used to be a military airport. Be used as a military airport. So it would make sense that this is a vortex. Okay, so you see this compass around here. It looks very hard to see, but I'm moving my cursor around it. But this is the Seminole VOR. Now, if I was coming from Atlanta, like one of the typical flights is out of Atlanta. I believe this is Atlanta. No, that's Warner Robins. I didn't go high enough. There's Atlanta right there. Atlanta, Georgia, right there to Tallahassee. If I'm going to track a VOR, VORs are tracked using radio frequencies, okay? So let's look at this right here. I'm going to zoom in as high as I can. The Seminole Vortex, the code for it is SZW, okay? That's Seminole, okay? Now, it has a frequency of 117.5. That is what they will put in the aircraft, in the radio panels, to track that particular VOR, okay? People who know they're at Seminole know they're coming into Leon County. They know they're coming into Tallahassee International Airport. There's a channel of 122 on it. But these little dots right here, beep, 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 that is Morse code. It's Morse code. Yes, they use Morse code also. And when we get ready to get in the sim, you'll see them when they get ready to load up their aircraft. They'll load into the Seminole VOR and they will plug it in there and they will hear this Morse code. So not only do you see Seminole VOR on some of the radio display plays, but if you didn't have a radio panel display, when you tune into 117.5, you will hear this Morse code, okay? So that's what lets them know that they're at Seminole. Now, we told you there are 3 different types of VORs. Layton, what are the 3 again?
There is VOR, which is very high frequency. There's VOR DME, was distant measurer equipment. Then there's VOR TAC, for vortex, tactical air.
All right, so we said the TACs, the vortex, are typically for military, right? So let's look at this. We're gonna move down to South Florida because I want to show you how all three work together to a degree. So Tallahassee has a vortex, okay? That's Seminole right here. If they're gonna go from Tallahassee to Jacksonville, they would leave Tallahassee. Here's the airport right down here. Has 2 runways, runway 3618 and runway 9 and 27. They'll take off. Then they will fly, if they're going to fly to Jacksonville, they'll track the Greenville right here, the Greenville VOR. This is the VOR right here. This is the little symbol for the VOR right there. They will plug into the radios before taking off 109.0. There's the Morse code for Greenville. Beep, 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 beep. That's Greenville. GEF is the code. So they would track that. So their plane takes off. Their plane picks up this radio signal. And they follow this radio signal to Monticello, which is the Greenville VOR. They would leave this VOR and track to Taylor. Thank you. Thank you, boys. Taylor, VOR. Taylor is a plane VOR. Right here, there goes the little symbol. It has a frequency of 112.9. They track that. And then ultimately, they head out 96 degrees right here, head to where? Jacksonville. There's Jacksonville. And the major vortex here is Craig. Okay? Craig Field, military, Jacksonville Naval Air Station is out there. So, of course, you would see a military style.
That's why it has the caution.
Right, and you see these orange are security areas that planes are not to fly through, okay? They're not allowed to fly through. They have to have a certain height or clearance. Okay. Now let's look at this real quick. We're gonna move down into the state of Florida to show you the different VRs. Here is what we call the Tampa class. What?
Bravo.
Bravo. There's different class airports. So this is the Tampa class Bravo. It is a large airspace, including Tampa International Airport. You have St. Petersburg. And I think, nope, actually it's slightly outside of the Tampa. There's Lakeland right there, slightly outside. But you have MacDill Air Force Base, that's right in here. MacDill Air Force Base. So let's look at this. St. Petersburg. Right there you have MacDill Air Force Base. So you expect that somewhere close here you have a what? A vortex. Well, the vortex is located right here. And it's what? It's the St. Petersburg vortex. Does everybody see that? Y'all see that? Yeah. Vortex. That's St. Petersburg. You can track it 116.4. If you travel south to Sarasota, you see, there we go. Yep, Sarasota's the class. Now you have the Sarasota. Let's see if I can find that thing so that everybody who's watching the stream can see this. There it goes. Sarasota is a VOR DME. Meaning this, when they leave the St. Petersburg vortex and they tune into Sarasota, which is just south of Tampa area. It's 117.0. In the plane, in their aircraft, it will tell them how far they are from that VOR, from Sarasota, okay? That's what DME stands for, Distance Measuring Equipment. Sarasota's code is SRQ. My boys, the boys know they got to learn the Florida vortex, the DMEs, and the VORs all in the state of Florida. They have to learn that because I want them to know when they see one, they'll know where they are. So this is Sarasota. So St. Petersburg is a VOR-TAC. Sarasota is a VOR DME. And if we keep moving south towards my hometown, north of it, here's my hometown, of course, where I was born, Fort Myers, Florida. You have the Lee VOR-TAC, but that's not what I want to really show you. It's right here. Punta Gorda. Punta Gorda is a what? It's a VOR. You plug into the Punta Gorda VOR 110.2. There's your Morse code there here. Here's the code. It's PGP. So the boys know that that's how you track it. Now, how do you know where you are in relation to this? Well, if you look on this compass, and let's go back up to Tallahassee real quickly. I want one that's nice and clear. Tallahassee's a little, yeah, let's stay with Tallahassee. If you look at this compass right here, here's the center of the VOR. You have headings on this compass, just like anything, 360 degrees. So you have due north, you have 90 or 88 degrees on this VOR. There's 88 right there. You have 180 right here. There, of course, you have 270 over here, 270 degrees. Then you have due north. And you see these degrees coming off of these VORs. Now, how do you track it? Well, it's like, imagine this is a bicycle wheel. That's just a bicycle wheel, guys. And so, what you see in the middle here is the VOR itself. If I'm coming out of, let's say, Montgomery, Alabama, coming out of this area right here. If I'm coming in right here, the inbound, what they call the inbound radial or the line to that VOR is 307 degrees. It's located right there, 307 degrees. That can be inbound. If I fly 307 degrees, this is the direction I'll be coming into that VOR. You have an outbound radial of 200 and what? 88 degrees, right? So if the VOR is here and I'm flying this direction, due east, what's the outbound radial? What degrees? Oh. What's the outbound? If I'm going from Tallahassee to Jacksonville, what's the radial I'm flying on? That's Seminole. So if I fly this direction, what radial? Flying to Greenville. So what radial would I be? 88. The 88 outbound. See, from Greenville, you'll fly the 88. You'll actually fly the 88 inbound because you're going into Tallahassee. But the direction you're flying in is what heading? 270. Okay. So let me tell you something. When I first started flight simming, this was the most confusing aspect of it because I didn't understand inbound, outbound. And so for them now, hopefully, we're going to continue to look at this to understand that if I'm coming into Tallahassee, I might be on the 090 radial, but I'll be on the 090 inbound. I'm flying heading 270. And so they don't use a lot of that in aviation today, but it's very, very important for them to know. Okay? Especially if someone asks you, where are you? Sometimes you can get them. I'm on I'm flying heading 270 on the 090 inbound radial into Tallahassee. They'll know exactly where you're at. Okay, they'll know exactly where you're at. So this is what it is right here. So that's how they will navigate. They will speak to ATC if ATC needs to ask them where they are as it corresponds to the Seminole VOR. They'll be able to tell them because this compass right here tells them what radials they'll be on. You could be on the 210 out if you're on this end of the thing. So if I'm leaving out, I'm on the 210 outbound. If I'm flying in, I'll be on the 210 inbound, but the heading I'm flying is 030. Does that make sense, y'all?
Yeah.
Does that make sense? Because I'm flying heading north, but the radial I'm on is on the 210. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
All right. You sure you got it?
Yes.
All right, make sure you got it. Okay, so what we will do, and we just want to show you kind of like how we study this stuff and how we look at it. What we will do then, we'll start having them draw a flight plan where they have to draw inbound, outbound. So let's say they want to go from Tallahassee to Jacksonville. Let's go back to Tallahassee, Jacksonville. I'm using Sky Vector right now. Tallahassee to Jacksonville. Okay, that's the route that they would take from Tallahassee to Jacksonville. Now, if they're flying a little Cessna and they want to track VORs, you got to know what VORs connect you to Jacksonville. So, boys, what's the first VOR you would track out? Greenville, GEF. Boom. Do we see that? What's the next VOR? TA to Taylor, and then you proceed direct to what? Jacksonville International. But if you see this, and I'm hoping you can see this and you can read it on the screen. If they leave Tallahassee, they'll fly a heading of 077 for 31 miles. But what they'll do, they'll put this VOR, which is which VOR? Greenville VOR in their radios, and as they're flying, it will let them know that you're tracking the Greenville VOR. Okay? It'll let them know. Then once they get to Greenville, they'll start fly heading what? 091. Speak up now, 091. But how many miles?
About 64.
64 miles to what?
Taylor.
To Taylor. Very good, boys. You come in on what radial?
You'll come out at
which radial would you come in on? Think about it. Not 96. If you're coming from Greenville to Taylor, which radial? 276 inbound radial. There you go. Come in.
1112.
That's right. The frequency is 112.9. You track that, beep, 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 and once you get right over the VOR,
you're 45 miles.
You fly 45 miles to where?
Jacksonville.
To Jacksonville, and you fly a heading of what? 94 degrees. Right. All right. And ATC, and you'll have ATC too. You can have ATC track you to make sure you fly directly to Jacksonville and get into the Class Charlie airspace. So that's kind of like what they're doing. That's what we're studying. But what we're gonna do, we take some didactic time where we write things down, and they study it so that they'll know. Okay, here's your flight plan. Now I want you to start in Orlando. Let's get you started in Orlando Class Bravo. I am not starting them in a Class Bravo at all. They need to start off at best in a Charlie. Okay, you can do a Class Delta airport, but at best a Class Charlie. But Class Bravo, the Orlando Class Bravo, very, very busy airspace. A lot of private planes fly this airspace. The Orlando VOR is hidden somewhere in here. I know it's here. It's hiding here somewhere in here. The Orlando VOR is located. I know it is. So it's just a mound of information. It's so much to find.
I just think it's right
there. It is, right there in the center. The Orlando Vortex. There it is right there, folks. The boys found it. For ORL, channel 122. So if I said, hey, I want you to fly over to the Fort Lauderdale, he would track that, and then he has a couple of VORs along the way that he can track. I believe this is Ormond Beach. Nope.
Melbourne.
This is the Melbourne VOR. Melbourne VOR, DME, so he could track that. You would come down and track what? Vero Beach. Vero Beach, you can track Vero Beach.
Treasure.
You can track Treasure. Then you can keep flying a particular heading. And I'm pretty sure ATC will guide you all the way down here. And of course, you're going to pass the Palm Beach VOR. Fly over that. Vortac?
Yep.
Thank you, Vortac. And then, of course, we get to the massive Charlie of Fort Lauderdale. The Fort Lauderdale VOR DME and the Miami, which is the Dolphin and Virginia Key VORs in this area. So there's a lot of fun stuff for them to do. They are going to eventually get on the sim, and we're going to let them do some practicing with it. But right now we're in didactic time for them to learn how to do this. So they have a wealth of resources. They have a wealth of pilots that they can contact and talk to about doing this. And so it's a very fun time. This is one of our first videos. As you see, our thing that we create back here, our green screen, we did not use it today because we are too wide to be encompassed with the green screen. But this is something that we took the time to help build together to bring you some of this fun stuff. So we want to say thank you to each and every one of you for looking in, looking at how they're learning and what they're learning about. I'm excited for them. Of course, William is going to be probably our first pilot of the family. If not, Lathan will be. It doesn't, however God does it, that's how he does it. And so I'm just really proud of the work that they're putting in. They're very committed to it. And so thank you for all of those who have subscribed to the channel. Please feel free to share this with other people. And hopefully it will inspire others that are looking for their dreams and searching their dreams out to chase them. So we want to thank you all for joining us today. And like I said, this is what we study. This is how we look at stuff. We kind of get some. Now, if I don't know something, and I'm not a pilot, if I don't know something, I have no problems calling one of our many resources to help them with it. I just got a message from Captain Anthony Manswell that flies for United, flies the 787s across the water. So international pilots, he was just checking on the boys today. So thank you, Captain Manswell, for checking in. They are doing great, as you can see. And so we thank y'all for joining us today. Love you. Y'all have a great day. And thank you for joining us on Calhoun Aviation Experience, y'all. Y'all have a great day. Stay tuned. We're going to go to some crazy places. And I'll see y'all later.